So when it comes to living in the United States, right, we all know that the cost of living is pretty high, right? And the standard of living is better, but things cost a lot of money, right? And a lot of people have this idea that if they could just live, move somewhere outside of the United States, that they could not have to work as hard, right? They don't have to work as hard at their jobs. They can get the free things that they want. Overall life would be better. Okay. And then of course, a lot of these people quickly learn that, life doesn't get easy. Like you can't just outrun your problems. And not to say that living, somewhere else, would be better. Like say if you can take the American dollars and bring it to a low cost of living, country. A lot of people are doing that. But for a lot of people, they think that United States is so bad that they can just run away from their problems by going to another country. And in this video that I'm gonna show you, this a woman here. She's so tired of living, doing the whole 9 to 5 thing, right? She's just tired of 9 to 5 having to work. That her goal is like she's getting to a point where she wants to live overseas. To not have to work that hard. So we're gonna listen to what she had to say, then I'll share my thoughts.
I'm to the point where I'm just so sick of like the 9 to 5 corporate America. And the thing is, I just got here. I'm 2 years in and I'm already over it. Like the politics, the climbing up the ladder, the people in the room telling you have to work like extra hard to just make it up to the next level. Well, let's be real, the people probably at the top most likely didn't climb the corporate ladder. They just knew somebody. And some did, but some didn't. But this whole thing of like, we spend 40 hours of the week at work just to survive in corporate America and then survive in America and then just survive. Like, I'm so over this. Like, I have a strong, like, urge to live abroad because something tells me that they just are doing better and just have a happier life abroad.
Some of these people are so delusional, man. Like something tells you that they're just doing better. I would say stay off social media, right? Because like it's not social life is not always what it seems to be on social media. Look at, I know a lot of people, this whole 9 to 5 thing, man. Look at, like I get it. It's not an easy thing, but when I look at work, especially as you get older, look at work as a means to an end. Okay, like you use it as a way to obviously pay your bills, get the things that you need in order in life, to survive in life. But if you're someone that doesn't want to do the whole 9 to 5 thing for the rest of your life, then use the 9 to 5 as a way to do the things that you want, right? Like for me, I was a kickbox instructor, and while I was a kickbox instructor doing that, from full time and eventually going to part time, I was working on an online business, and I would work that job. Every time I was done with my job, and I had the days off, I would work my online business, and it got to a point where I was making enough money where I could then leave that kickboxing job. Right? That's what you want to do, right? Use your jobs as a means to an end to work on something else. But you have to understand that you have to work on something else. Like life is just not going to be simple. Like thinking about going overseas, thinking life is going to be different. It's not, and it's just crazy because. Look at, man, ladies, like when I do these reviews, like most of the people that complain about the 9 to 5 jobs, right? Not to say that men don't, but obviously the majority of them are women, right? A lot of the women are complaining about having to work the 9 to 5, the corporate life. Not to say there aren't men doing that either, but the majority of people that are expressing themselves online are obviously the women. And it's just crazy because, like I said, women, y'all had it good back in the days, right? The men would go bust their butts, work hard at their job, and a lot of women would stay home, tend to the house and watch over the kids. Right. But of course, society changed and women said, we can do more. We can be more than just housewives. So what? Society took women and said, hey, here you go. Enter the workforce. Go out there, go make your money, gain some independency, which I'm not saying is a bad thing. However, there's a give and take from these things, right? So women enter the workforce, and as time rolled by, women are coming to a point where they don't like it, right? They're stressed out, they're burnt out, all right? They're not happy. There's no fulfillment. Okay, they find that they got to work very hard for very little. Right, these are things that men had to do, and this is something men are very capable of doing. We understand. No one cares that we don't like our jobs. We work because we have to provide. We have to get things done. We have to be productive members of society. So men typically just don't complain. They just bear it and then get things done. Right, a job is not something that you do to be happy. You do it because obviously it's a means to an end, and you have to provide. But for women, you hear a lot of them complaining. That you see that just not happy working. They don't want to do it, right? And the crazy thing is they don't want to work, but then at the same end, you have women today, they don't want to be housewives either. So they don't want to work, but they don't want to be housewives. They don't want to be taken care of by a man, right? Unless he's a multimillionaire, right? But they don't want to do that. They just want to live this life of leisure, but they're stuck in a hard place because they know, hey, they want to claim independency, so they have to work. And at the same time, they don't want to have to depend on the men. Some of these men, right? I mean, some of these women, right? So it's just like, look, you can't have it all, right? You got there's trade-offs in life, right? You don't want to bust your butt working that 9-to-5 life. Cool, that's totally fine. Then you're gonna have to find someone that's willing to do that, and then take care of you while you do other stuff around the house. And you got to figure that out. But for a lot of these women, you just see that they're not happy working. And then for her to think that she's gonna go to Europe and find this easier life, like, yeah, if you can bring American dollars, right, and bring it to one of these low cost of living countries, it could work. Europe is not the same because obviously the dollar's pretty equivalent. The cost of living in Europe is pretty high as well. But the thing is, see, men can do that, right? Men don't mind taking American dollars and going to these, like South America or East Asia, and these lower cost living, maybe not first world countries. They can go there and survive. But women, they don't want that. They don't want to go there. They want to go to more developed societies, right? Because more developed societies are safer. They have the things that they need. So it's either going to be America or it's going to be Europe, right? Like that's the most equivalent thing to America. So and Europe is not cheap either. But she thinks, I'm pretty sure if she goes, she'll learn very quickly that life is not as easy. Like wherever you go, you're going to have to work. You're going to have to work for the things that you need. Okay? Like you're going to have to work. And to think that you're just going to go somewhere else and you think you're just going to be chilling, relaxing, get out 9 to 5 and get out 5 o'clock and then enjoy life. It's like, that's just not the way the world works. You got to be a productive member of society, right? I know people like to make it seem like Europe and all these other places where they work, they don't work a lot, but they enjoy life a little bit. That's just not true. Like if you talk to so many of them, they're working just as hard because you got to. If you're gonna put a roof over your head, you're gonna put food in your belly, clothes on your back, you're gonna have to work, right? And the best opportunity to do that, although it's very expensive, America is the best. Look at man, they provide so many opportunities to go make money here in the United States. Like if you really understand it, like and I know a lot of people complain about capitalism, but if you understand how to use capitalism to your benefit, you can be very successful here. But you're gonna have to put in a lot of work, right? You don't get anything without work. Everything requires work, and you're gonna have to put in that work. Okay? And if you think you can outrun your problems, that you're delusional because you can't. It don't matter where you go. Whatever problems you have in one country is gonna follow you in another country, right? Especially if it involves money. Okay, so those are my thoughts. Interested to hear your thoughts. Make sure to leave a comment down below. Hit the like button and share. And if you haven't done so, make sure to subscribe. Right, so guys, take care and have a good one. Later.